I remember him saying that Man of Steel was shit and that Zack Snyder needs to not do superhero movies. Fast forward to Justice League, he is now saying Joss Whedon needs to go away and bring back Zack Snyder. He did it best. What the fuck? Make up your goddamn mind and quit being an armchair critic and just calling a movie shit because it's a cool thing to do.
He's leaving court for a speeding ticket, and the Irish media is there, and he just yells to tell him to come and get him. What the fuck? Is he trying to die?
Well, let's give some context of what exactly we're talking about here. Okay, we can't get the video to load, but in a nutshell, tell them what happened, John, since you saw this first.
Okay, well, we kind of got to start at the crazy beginning of this thing. Apparently this has been going on for like a little bit here. A friend of... This is everything I understand, but it's hard to find like really good information at this point because, you know, people are hesitant to talk about some of this shit, apparently. Mm-hmm. But from the most I can understand so far, Connor has a friend who's kind of connected with some organized crime in Ireland. And this guy has been having problems with somebody else, like two brothers from the same crime group. Well, Connor and this guy got in a fight with those two guys and beat the shit out of them. Like nobody got hospitalized or anything, but they beat the crap out of them. And that led to apparently just a few days ago, Connor was at a bar. And there was a guy there who was kind of shooting his mouth off about it. So Connor got into it with him, and in the process of that, ended up punching the father of a suspected, like, Irish mafia hitman in the head.
Okay.
And that's just spiraled to, like, a point of crazy. Like, when it first came out, a whole bunch of people are like posting it they were in the bars, and then like people started realizing who it was, and people start taking their posts down and hiding their information and not wanting to talk to media without being anonymous. So everybody starts going like, wait a minute, what's going on? And finally we've got a guy, and I'm just gonna read what he said, that spoke anonymously to media about the entire situation.
Now this is from MMAimports.com.
Yeah, which, I mean, I know they're kind of the TMZ of the MMA world, but right. they do seem to be on top of this story.
The weird thing, before you read it, the weird thing about this page is, like we said, we can't find the video to play for everyone. It's like it's just not here. It's not even trying to load. It's just a huge blank space on this article. So that's really weird. Yeah,
that's and the video is something that just broke this morning.
Right.
But this is a little bit different. This is what the guy who spoke anonymously to MMA Imports said about the story. It says, the guy Connor punched at the Black Forge Inn is named Ryan. Ryan has two very important friends around here and two brothers named the Timmins brothers. The Timmins brothers have been messing with Connor's longtime friend Andy. Andy is also involved with the Kinahan gang too.
Jesus.
A lot of people don't know this, and no one is really talking about it, but Connor already had a run-in with the Timmins brothers a couple of weeks ago, and he beat them both up pretty handily over his loyalty to Andy. Andy was present for this first incident, and, well, I say it was a beating, but it wasn't like he hospitalized the brothers or anything. Andy was involved in the scuffle too. They won, the Timmins lost, but it wasn't really bad.
Now, hold on just one second. Why is it, because Connor is like a god in Ireland right now, why would anyone think that they could take him?
I think people who are, like, in with crime don't really care.
Well, maybe not just with crime, but there's always those people that want to approach fighters, especially, and, I don't know, puff their chest out a little bit.
Or maybe the situation. See, we don't know the details of the first situation. Maybe the situation was escalating with his friend, and they didn't know Connor was there. or they didn't think Conor would step in. They didn't think Conor was crazy enough
Really?
to put himself in the middle of that. Maybe they didn't realize that he's fucking nuts.
I think Conor always is not looking for a fight, but he could see one a mile away, and he's diving in nose first.
I think he's always ready for one, that's for sure.
Well, that's for sure, yeah. All right, go ahead.
But the guy says, so back to Sunday night. Ryan was at the pub, and he was talking shit and defending the Timmons brothers, and that's why Conor beat him up, too, on Sunday night.
Oh, my God.
While scuffling with Ryan, Conor also hit the father of Graham Whelan. Now, Whelan has a reputation. He's supposedly a hitman for the Kinahan gang and not someone to be taken lightly. This shit's crazy. So Conor is beating up Kinahan gang member in defense of his friend Andy, who is also affiliated with Kinahan. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of their name, but I'm not Irish, so that's okay.
What's the name?
Kinahan, Kinahan.
Yeah, that looks right.
That's really, guy says that's really Conor's saving grace because these issues are not going to divide the gang. They're too strong of an organization for that. And though Conor is fighting with Kinahan guys, he's doing it for Andy, a Kinahan guy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's possible that Graham will not be able to let Conor's assault of his dad go without some sort of payment, and though it appears as if Conor struck Graham's dad by accident, Graham has a reputation for just not giving a fuck and could try some recourse.
Wow.
So, here's a very important thing that came out after this, too. Apparently, they put a $900,000 price on Conor's head.
Jesus Christ.
And Dana White saying he thinks he can smooth it over because of his, Dana's talked about this before in the public. He had some prior issues with the American Mafia.
Well, yeah, he lives in Vegas and is known for gambling, so just like with Conor.
This goes all the way back to when he was on the East Coast, though. He didn't get in that trouble in Vegas.
Oh.
Yeah, this is like prior to him being big in with the UFC and all this.
Okay.
But he found a way somehow to make it good, so he's thinking he can make this good too. But I don't fucking know. It's absolutely crazy. And I think Conor needs to get the fuck out of Ireland right now.
Yeah, at least for the time being, because $900,000 bounty on your head, someone's coming after you. There's at least one person that's going to take that.
I mean, of course, he could take some of that $100 million Mayweather money and just hire one of those private security corporations and.
Yeah, that kind of goes in. Yeah, that kind of ties into what else is going on in Conor's life. I mean, that's absolutely crazy and all that. But Dana is also saying that he might not fight again.
He might have to after he has to spend probably millions of dollars to pay off the Irish Mafia, not to kill him.
Maybe, but I mean, it's sort of a bad topic to move into after this one because this one's just so more fantastic of a topic.
Yeah, this is absolutely. Oh, and the video that wouldn't play, at least going by the description, Conor is leaving court and he's asked by the media about this whole thing, and he just says, "Tell him to fucking come and get me."
Oh my God!
I'm like, what the fuck? Unless Conor's hired snipers to stay on the roof of his house or something, what the fuck are you yelling "come and get me" for?
Well, we kind of touched on this in a previous episode where you have that sort of fame and money, especially as a fighter, and like I just said, he's a god in Ireland right now.
I think he's on coke.
Yeah, maybe he can.
Well, Dana kind of hinted at it because he was comparing him to John Jones right now.
Very impulsive, very out of his mind, and yeah, maybe.
And aggressive, more aggressive than Conor's ever been.
Yeah, I don't want to throw around rumors or anything, but
well, no, I'm just spitballing here. I mean,
the writing's on the wall for sure.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're just spitballing here, but I mean, it's definitely a major alteration of his behavior. It could just be the money, or it could be something else.
I don't know, because he was crazy before the Mayweather fight. He was crazy before he became champion. But
he wasn't getting in drunken bar brawls with members of the mafia.
Yeah, but is that something that fame does to you when everyone knows who you are everywhere you go?
I mean, is he literally sitting there looking at all that money I can hire hitmen too? Fuck you. Is that what he's doing?
Oh, fuck, yeah. I don't know. I mean, the thing about Dana saying that he's not going to fight again, I think the reason he said that, I was reading a tweet about it, is that basically because he doesn't have to. You know, he has $100 million that he got from the Mayweather fight. He said that fighters have stopped fighting for a lot less. So he thinks that Conor won't fight again.
But meanwhile, if Conor is like Floyd, and Floyd thinks Conor's like him, they were talking about it prior to their match, he thinks nothing will ever be enough for Conor.
Yeah, because, not necessarily in the money department, because I think while the money is great for Conor, I'm sure he loves the money, I think he's more concerned about his legacy and leaving a significant mark in combat sports.
That, and I also think it is a little bit about the money, because, I mean, he spends so much time, you know, talking about his, you know, well, this is why Floyd Mayweather accused him of, like, ripping his thing off, you know, talking about his designer suits, his nice cars, his big house.
Yeah, but to me, it seems almost like a persona. It seems like a caricature of who he actually is. Probably.
But at the same time, you start getting all that. You make $100 million in one night. You start thinking, like, shit, can I do it again? And have $200 million.
Is that $100 million, was that including endorsements or not including endorsements?
From what I understand, that's just his straight up cut of the pay-per-view buys and fight purse.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, this guy, you know, Mayweather's made a billionaire out of himself out of this shit. And,
over a long career. Conor's still young.
Yeah, and I think Conor wants to do the same. I think he'll fight again, just for even more money.
I think it's more likely that Conor's going to come back to the UFC because, like I said, I think he cares about his legacy quite a bit, and he still hasn't, over a year now, I think it was November last year he became champion, he still hasn't defended it.
Yeah, but right now it looks like he would rather fight fucking the Irish Mafia than Tony Ferguson.
I don't think he'll fight Ferguson, just like GSP isn't going to fight Whitaker. Because the rumor is right now is that GSP is wanting to go down to 170 and fight Conor.
I just saw a thing the other day where he said no.
Who said no?
GSP.
Really?
Yeah, every time GSP has been directly asked about it, he said that he's contracted to defend the title.
Yeah, I mean he's contracted,
but he always adds in if he fights again. By the way.
He'll fight again. Come on.
Dana's worried that he's going to just vacate. It was just yesterday. Dana said that he would be furious.
Yeah, he'd be furious, but with someone at GSP's age and tenure as a fighter, yeah, he could basically leave any time. But he just got the title. I don't think GSP will just up and leave. Yeah, but I don't know, and you know. I wonder if Michael Bisping's really done now. I think because he got floored by Kevin Gastelum. Yeah, I saw it. It was. I hope he's done. I hope he just goes to promoting or coaching or maybe even calling fights. I hope he is done fighting. Yeah, that was a quick turnaround. But getting so off topic here. But I don't know who Conor's really going to go against. I mean, everybody that people want to see him go against, he seems to have no interest in other than Nate. But I think Nate, is the UFC going to pay Nate what Nate wants for that? Because he apparently priced himself out of the Tyron Woodley fight. Well, I think if Nate and Conor both have a unified front and wanting to fight each other to make that trilogy happen, and it gets a lot of attention from the media and from the fans, I think the UFC will basically have their hands tied because everyone wants to see it. That's how the McGregor-Mayweather thing ended up happening. At first, it was just them shooting shit and, I'd fight him, blah, blah, blah. And Dana was quoted to saying, it will never happen. Well, look what happened. The people spoke, and they made it happen. Yeah, apparently he was publicly saying it would never happen while he was making deals behind closed doors to make it happen. So I think that was partially part of the marketing. Like, nope, people, no, you'll never get to see this. So that whenever it actually happened, it was an even bigger deal. Like, well, guess I was wrong. You're going to see it. Yeah, that's why, Dana obviously has a huge insight into the UFC and combat sports as a whole. But yeah, that right there is one of the reasons why I kind of half listen to what Dana says, because I don't know if he's being serious or not. Here's what I think will happen. First of all, I don't know if he'll go for Ferguson, and I don't know if GSP is going to go for Whitaker. But I think they both need to defend their titles, so they have that out of the way. And then I think they need to make that super fight of GSP versus McGregor.
Man, they might do it, but
neither
one of them talks like they have any interest in it.
I don't know. It's one of those things like old school versus new school. Very dominating fighters. I don't think GSP was as dominant as Conor has been, but
I would argue that he was actually more dominant. Not in individual matches and the wins themselves. Other than some of them, I mean, he absolutely destroyed a few guys. He wrecked BJ Penn.
Right.
He wrecked. Oh god, I hate whenever someone's name leaves me like right as I'm thinking about. Josh Koscheck. He absolutely wrecked Josh Koscheck. He detached Josh Koscheck's retina with his jab.
Yeah, that's basically what retired Koscheck.
Well, Koscheck fights for Bellator now, but
oh really? I need to start watching Bellator.
Yeah, but Koscheck has never been the same since that fight. He's never been back in the title hunt. He's never been, the killer he was before.
Right.
Josh has definitely never been the same fighter he was before that fight.
Right, yeah.
And so I'm looking at it and I'm going like, I honestly think GSP was more dominant because he sat atop that division for so long.
Yeah, but that's time. When you're talking about a longer career, you have more opportunities to shine.
Well, not just that, but you're also looking at GSP didn't go like a year without defending a title. And I do think that stuff matters. That's
matters to what?
To your legacy. I don't think Conor is a great star and a great fighter. But what I don't think Conor is, not yet anyway, I don't think Conor is a great champion. I actually think Conor is a really shitty champion. And here's why I say that. He does not act much as an ambassador for the sport. And he also doesn't defend his fucking titles ever. He wants to win belts, but has no interest in actually being the champion, sitting atop the division, defending the belt. And GSP did that. That weight class was GSP's weight class. Anybody who came into it, the goal was to dethrone GSP
for a long time.
Yes, for years.
Yeah. Okay. You turned to me. I agree with you.
Killer after killer coming after him.
Yeah, you got me to flip on that.
But yeah, that's pretty much the end of my point on that. Is just that, killer after killer came after George St. Pierre. Guys who have big legacies in the MMA world, one right after the other. But, the guy walked out with the champion, comes back, and just takes the belt right back 4 years later.
That's pretty epic.
I mean, I don't think as far as champions go, you can talk about dominance and individual wins and performance, but as far as champions go, there's hardly a better champion than George St. Pierre.
Yeah, that's true. But that's sort of like the double standard when it comes to the relationship between the UFC and Conor, is that champions are contractually obligated to defend their title. But Conor gets a pass because he's such...
Because he makes money.
Yeah, I think I was trying to remember the quote that Dana said, is that you can't, I believe he said you can't pay Conor enough for what he does.
Yeah, and basically that's him just admitting, hey, we have to let Conor do what he wants, because if he leaves, we're fucked.
And that has to be super frustrating for these champions that are defending left and right, like Mighty Mouse, who's, about to break the record with the number of defenses he's made, and just everyone else who, no, you have to defend your title with this person, or whatever. And Conor's just like, I do what the fuck I want.
And other champions do a little bit of negotiating, like, they want this guy, they want that guy. I mean, well, like Cody and TJ, they wanted that fight.
Yeah.
And even though TJ had not been, fighting at that same weight, he'd been fighting 10 pounds heavier, as soon as, actually, never mind. Scratch that. I'm an idiot. Yeah, TJ was already at that weight. I don't know why the hell I was thinking that.
No, I Oh, yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
I think TJ was considering a move up, and I crossed that up in my head.
Well, he's considering going down because he wants Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, now, but I think after he first lost to Dominic Cruz, he considered going up.
I don't know. I didn't hear that, so I don't know. What about this this thing that I just heard today? Yeah, it was just today that Rousey is thinking about coming back.
I don't believe it.
I believe she might want to, but I agree with Dana. He said that she definitely shouldn't, and he doesn't want to see that.
Who's she going to fight? Nunez?
I hope not, for her sake.
I mean, that already went awful.
Yeah, it's
like that was awful. I don't even want to see that. If she comes back, she needs to go down somewhere in the middle of the rankings and work her ass back up. Because if she comes back and they're just like, oh, title shot, Ronda Rousey, I won't even buy that fight. I really won't even buy that fight.
First of all, that's not going to happen because Rousey is so popular. So yeah, there's no starting from the bottom when it comes to her. I
mean, maybe she wants to puff up to 145 and fight Cyborg. I don't want to watch Ronda Rousey die.
Yeah, let's not put a murder on pay-per-view, please.
Oh, which, by the way, they've officially actually made the home Cyborg fight, and I'm stoked.
Really? Awesome.
Yeah, that's happening later this month. I think it's either later this month or it's in January.
Is that surely they're main eventing that, right?
Yeah, they're the main event.
Awesome. Yeah, here it is. I was trying to find Dana White's comment on Ronda Rousey coming back. Yeah, okay, here it is. He says that he definitely doesn't want to see it, just like I said. But the thing is that she hasn't actually officially retired. She's actually still getting tested by USADA. So
interesting.
So she can basically come back whenever she wants, even though she still has to be approved and, get a fight. So that's kind of crazy. When was the last time she fought? It was over a year ago? 2 years ago? When was that?
I thought it was about a year ago.
About a year, yeah. But yeah, so this entire time where she's doing movies and the whole WWE thing that's apparently in the works, she's still technically an employee for the UFC. And USADA is still showing up at her house for random drug tests. So, I don't know. I don't know if she was to come back, who she would fight. But if it's Cyborg or Nunez, it's not going to go well. It's just not. Because I don't know if you and I have talked about it, but I know I was talking to my wife about this. Rousey's style just doesn't work for today's UFC.
No, not anymore.
Yeah, she's a judo expert who has some boxing skills.
The division has moved on.
Yeah.
And she would have to radically change her game, or it's going to look like the Nunez and home fights.
Right. And, I mean, for sure, no one can take away the fact that she was the trailblazer for female fighters. If it wasn't for her, Dana has said this himself, if it wasn't for Ronda Rousey, he would have never had a women's division in the UFC. So for sure, she is definitely a pioneer for that reason. But today's UFC has no place for Rousey as she is right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's the same whenever I hear people talk about, like, Chuck Liddell doing a comeback fight. The light heavyweight division it's moved on. The game has changed a lot. Unless Chuck is going to come back with something radically different, he would get fucked up in that division right now.
I think he'd get fucked up anyway, man. He's been knocked out too many times.
And I every now and then I hear, like, rumblings of a Chuck Liddell comeback. I'm like, please fucking don't.
No,
Just don't. I love Chuck. I don't want to see him get in there with fucking. Like,
I love Chuck too. He was one of the first fighters I even knew about when I first got into the UFC. And the thing is that Dana loves Chuck as well, and I think Dana won't allow Chuck to come back.
He's actually said the only two like really major stars he's ever had that really listened to him were Chuck Liddell and Ronda Rousey.
Listen to him in what way? What do you mean?
Like, not doing crazy shit and fucking up their career like John Jones. Or now Connor.
Yeah.
Like, not doing absolutely crazy shit.
If Connor's on coke, isn't he still getting tested?
Here's the thing. I didn't think, like, you're out of competition tests, like when you don't have a fight scheduled. I don't think it matters if you take like a recreational drug on those. I might be wrong, but like Nate Diaz smokes pot like a fucking train, but no one seems to care if he fails. If he fails for that, as long as he doesn't have a fight scheduled and it's a out of competition test. They pretty much only care if you pop for steroids out of competition, from what I understand.
Right. Well, I mean, weed is definitely not a performance enhancer in any way. I could see the potential for coke being an advantage.
Not really. I mean, not long term. In the moment, yes, but not long term. In fact, it actually enlarges the heart. It causes some.
I'm talking about
issues.
I'm talking about the crazy I don't give a fuck attitude when you're on coke.
Yeah, but I mean, like that goes back to the out of competition thing. Like, I guess nobody cares if he's got an I don't give a fuck attitude while he's in a bar in Ireland. They care if he's got that, going on while he's in a UFC ring or climbing a Bellator cage. What the fuck? God damn it, Connor. Chill out, man. Connor, fly out to Nate Diaz and sit down on a yacht with some tequila and some weed. Chill out. Chill the fuck out. Like,
you were 29 years old. Calm down, man.
Like, maybe he should try the Diaz brothers thing.
Maybe, man.
I mean, because I'm thinking Irish whiskey and God knows whatever else he's on is not working.
I don't know. Anyway, so last episode we talked about how much hate the Justice League movie had, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, I went on a full rant yesterday with my wife talking about that. And we don't have to go into it here, but have you seen the Avengers trailer? Avengers Infinity War trailer?
I have not.
Look that up real quick. The reason I'm wanting to talk about it is because just off the trailer alone, I think the Avengers is going to blow Justice League out of the water.
Well, it probably will, because everybody's a giant Marvel fanboy and everything they do is right.
That aside, I'm talking about my opinion, someone who liked Justice League. I think this movie's going to blow it out of the water, so much so that Warner Brothers is probably going to start thinking about a rework.
They don't need to. They need to calm down, because they need to pay attention. This movie, Infinity War, this has been building for years, introducing the individual stones in other movies, like the Time Stone showing up in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
They've been working up to this for years. This is the consequence of them building a universe and setting up piece by piece down the road future events.
Yeah.
If you hit the reset button, you'll just have to do the same shit you're trying to do right now all over again. You'll have to reestablish your universe again.
Yeah. You're right. They probably won't go that route. But we didn't have this podcast when Batman vs. Superman came out, but we did talk about it. And I did have that sort of worry that they were going to try to rush it, that they were going to try to do what Marvel did, but in like half the time, or maybe even a quarter of the time. And that was going to ruin the entire franchise.
Oh, you mean when they introduced 4 characters in tiny little, basically screenshots in a minute and a half in a movie?
Yeah, especially like the whole Doomsday fiasco that no one liked. And yeah, it was way too soon for that story.
I mean, they basically did the Death of Superman storyline in the second movie of this Superman.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
Are you watching it?
Oh no, I was busy with this very crazy nerd discussion we're having right now. I'll watch it now.
Okay.
They're going to throw the Guardians of the Galaxy in there too. Damn.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's okay. You're right. That's going to be a way better movie than Justice League, probably. But also, like I'll say it again. Justice League should be compared more to like the first Avengers movie.
It should have been.
But even that got more build up.
A lot more. And the thing that really worries me is that, first of all, I love the whole idea with the Flashpoint storyline, and especially if they get Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Batman, like I've mentioned before. But that's the title of the first Flash movie. Now, obviously, the Flashpoint storyline is like a temporary thing, but it's one of those things that's used as sort of a built-in mulligan for writers, just like Days of Future Past for X-Men. And the fact that I think the way it's going to run is that Aquaman's going to be the first movie after Justice League, which is supposed to be early to mid next year, I believe.
Late next year, actually. It's apparently coming out in like November of next year. I googled this, and that one's definitely coming out. No matter what they change or do all that one's definitely coming out because it's already done.
Right.
They're in post-production.
Right. And yeah, that's right, because they said that after Aquaman comes out, they're going to try to release a DC movie every 6 months or so. And I can't remember for sure if the Flash movie is supposed to come before or after Justice League 2, but they're already going with the Flashpoint story.
Well, they've set up a few things right now. They've set up the Legion of Doom, which apparently they're trying to build that across like everything. They're trying to build the Legion of Doom.
Legion of Doom.
Wait, am I calling them the wrong thing?
Yeah. You mean the Injustice League?
No, they were called the Legion of Doom, dude.
It's the Injustice League.
Dude, it's the Legion of Doom.
Well, there's many different bad guy factions within DC.
If you're talking about the one that's headed by Lex Luthor, you made me doubt it for a half a second. The one that's actually headed up by Lex is the Legion of Doom.
Maybe. I mean, that was a Super Friends thing.
Yeah, it originated in Challenge of the Super Friends, but that's exactly what he's talking about, though, because whenever he looks at Deathstroke and says, "Isn't it time we had a league of our own?"
A league, yeah, Injustice League.
What the fuck is the Injustice League?
Look it up.
Wait, is that also headed by Lex?
I think Lex started it. We can look it up real quick. But it actually has a whole bunch of popular villains in it.
Okay, it's basically from what I'm looking at here, it's the exact same thing pretty much as the Legion of Doom. Just, it's from a different, okay, it's basically the same kind of thing. So, but apparently the reason I said Legion of Doom is there's an article saying that that DC is trying to establish the Legion of Doom, and it's been called that in multiple articles rumoring this because apparently the two leagues have slightly different members.
Yeah, I could probably see that. It's just the line, we started a league of our own, you know.
Yeah, also Legion of Doom sounds much less hokey than Injustice League. Like that's...
Well, it's a real thing.
I know, but I imagine a groan from audiences that aren't as familiar. Well, I would have groaned if I was watching that movie and I know about the Legion of Doom and I've heard Jack Diddley bullshit about the Injustice League. I would have been like, what? Why didn't you call it the Legion of Doom? That sounds way more awesome.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just, we were saying, what we were alluding to a minute ago, Marvel had a lot more time to build it up, and Warner Brothers is trying to play catch up, and they're trying to put it out quickly, and they're ruining it. They're ruining the DCEU franchise, especially with that stupid under 2 hour rule.
That needs to go away. I after you were talking to me about that, I dug in a little bit deeper. That's apparently the entire reason Zack Snyder got axed.
No, he left because of the tragedy with his daughter.
Oh, but I heard that he's also having, from what I read, he was also having like a major problem with the under 2 hour rule.
And that could be as well, but that is the reason why he left.
That's right. And why the hell are people writing that he hated the 2 hour rule and that's why he left? If we already know that about his daughter.
Well, I'm pretty sure no director would love any sort of time constraints like that.
And Zack makes long fucking movies.
He does, but the thing is the thing that I'm hating most about the people who are calling Justice League a terrible movie is that, yes, it has its problems, but they're also dealing with a lot. I think considering the time restrictions, the fact that there's 2 different directors working on it, I think it's a pretty awesome movie. But the thing is the people that are hating on Joss Whedon. First of all, Joss Whedon, his style worked goddamn well with the Marvel movies, okay? So the thing is that the stuff that Batman says doesn't fit his character, go fuck yourself, okay?
He only says one thing. What, other than the one goofy line, what does he say that doesn't fit his character?
Well, there's multiple moments with all the characters, but like the fangirl face that he made when Superman showed up, spoilers, at the end, you know what I'm talking about?
He had the mask on. I didn't notice it was a fangirl face.
He was just like, when Superman came, you know, that was probably a Joss Whedon thing. But the thing is that they're saying bring back Zack Snyder as bullshit, Joss Whedon, blah, 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 blah. The weird thing is, I'm not going to say who it is, but you know who it is. I remember him saying that Man of Steel was shit and that Zack Snyder needs to not do superhero movies. Fast forward to Justice League, he is now saying Joss Whedon needs to go away and bring back Zack Snyder. He did it best. What the fuck? Make up your goddamn mind and quit being an armchair critic and just calling a movie shit because it's a cool thing to do.
Yeah, and I actually don't know who you're talking about for funsies there, actually.
I'll tell you off air.
Okay. Not wanting to give him any press. Gotcha. Because we're press now. Fake news. but
yeah, this is news if we're giving our opinions. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Hey, opinion pieces are important, damn it.
Yeah, but anyway, okay, I'm going to bring this up because I didn't have it up in front of me last episode, and I want to have actual numbers here.
Hold for just a second here. I thought that Joss did not do a bad job at all. Like, I'm not even sure that fangirl face thing was... I think he was supposed to look like he was in awe. Because, I mean, this is the first time he's really been on Superman's side other than, like, a pressed, scary engagement. And Superman saves their ass. And it's kind of funny. Like, I really did feel like the movie did a good job of giving everyone their moment. But I also saw a meme that it was like, it's a picture of the Justice League. It's like, Justice League at 100% strength. And then it's just a picture of Superman. It's like, Justice League at 99.8% strength. It's like...
Right.
I was like, fuck.
Okay, so here's the actual numbers on Rotten Tomatoes. I know you don't like Rotten Tomatoes, but they don't actually do the reviewing. They just report the reviews.
I know, they're the same thing as Metacritic.
Yes. So, according to Rotten Tomatoes, Justice League got a 41% with critics. That means that out of 10 critics, only 4 of them liked it, slightly above that. But if you go to the audience score, it's 82%. That is a successful movie.
That's a really good audience score, actually.
Yeah. And I can't remember if it was you or Erica that was saying that, or asked if Marvel is possibly paying off critics to give it a bad review. Did you say that?
It was me, yeah.
Okay, yeah. With such a big contrast between those two, unless someone really fucking hates Joss Whedon or doesn't give a fuck about the situation and the context of why there were 2 directors. It just seems like every complaint I have heard for this movie has been shit directly caused by Warner Brothers time restraints or the fact that there was 2 directors. And the fact that Henry Cavill had to come back with his contractually obligated mustache that he had to have, and it was a shitty CG job, but still, they did the best with what they had. And these people who are audiences, they are not critics. They are not getting paid to be a critic. And they're acting like critics and going along with what critics are saying and saying that Justice League sucks. Fuck you, sir.
I hardly even noticed the whole mustache thing during the movie. I hardly even noticed it.
Obviously, there was. I mean, you asked me about it. You asked me like, "What's up with his face?" I think you did. It was either you or someone else.
No, that wasn't me. I hardly even fucking noticed it.
Okay, well, it must have been someone else. But like, I knew that it was a thing going into watching it, so obviously I noticed it. But yeah, I'm kind of curious. I mean, I guess you didn't know about it, so you didn't notice it.
Yeah, I didn't know about it, so I didn't notice it.
Okay, but once you...
The only time I thought his face looked a little funny was during the slow-mo sequence with Flash, but I thought it was supposed to be like a motion blur effect.
Yeah, maybe. But, yeah, basically anything that they had to reshoot where it's pretty much all Joss Whedon, they had to CG Henry Cavill's lip because he had a mustache for another movie he was doing. And, yeah, people are saying... Basically, just like I said... People are saying that it's a shitty movie because of things that are out of control, or out of the control of the directors and writers and producers and all that.
Well, get this. Like I just looked at Captain America: Civil War. For the audience score, it's 89%. So I noticed like the audience score for Civil War is 89%, while the critic score is much higher. So roughly in the same class as Justice League as far as, you know, audience members liking it. And isn't that what really matters? Not some dickbag that sits there and their job is to tell you whether a movie is good or not. I can't tell you how many movies I've seen that were supposed to be great movies according to critics, and I fell the fuck asleep.
Yeah, that's like, especially those Oscar bait movies that are very slow burn movies that really snobby movie people love. Yeah.
It's a great film. You should watch it. It's a brilliant commentary on our social system. Eat a fucking dick.
Well, now I need to also say, although I don't like those type of movies, some of them I do, but I'm also not like this Michael Bay fanboy where I love explosions and boom, you know. So I guess I'm somewhere in the middle. And all I'm saying is that Justice League is a good movie, considering what they had to deal with. I'll just leave it at that.
I feel like it's a good movie regardless. I feel like even if you didn't know all that shit, I feel like if you just put all that stupid shit aside, put your ass in one of those nice comfy movie theater seats, and watch the goddamn movie, you'll have a good time. But if you're sitting there like picking it apart, oh man, that's something I wanted to talk about like weeks ago and totally forgot it on one. Don't you feel like the internet has turned every fucking person into a goddamn armchair critic of everything?
Yes, for sure.
Every little thing that comes out, everybody's got to spout their opinion on it. They're evaluating it. Well, people are sitting there in the theater basically doing their own version of Cinema Sins in their head.
Cinema Sins.
Well,
we need to address this and be self-aware that we're doing the same thing right now. We're giving our opinion out for the world to hear. But
I feel like people don't suspend that when they put their ass in the seat. I feel like some people don't cut that shit off, like, while they're actually watching it or enjoying something and just let themselves enjoy shit.
Yeah. At the same time, like I said, I'm not a big fan of Michael Bay. As a matter of fact, I stopped watching Transformers after the second one. I had enough at that point. So when it comes to brain-dead action that's just entertained me for an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm not a big fan of. But at the same time, I do know how to just relax and lose myself into a movie and enjoy it for what it is. There's plenty of bad movies that I really like.
Like Batman Forever.
I hate that movie. How dare you? I was actually going to say the Mortal Kombat movie. I love that movie.
The first one. Don't tell me you enjoy the second one.
No, I can't get through the second one. I can't. I get every time I try, I get to the point where Sindel says, "Too bad, you will die," and I'm like, "Done, I'm out, can't do it."
Here's what you do, man. You take a nice bottle of whiskey, and every single time you're like, "I can't make it through it," you just take a shot, and you're like, "Nope. Okay, I can make it.
Well,
I can make it." And then by the end of the movie, you're drunk and you've forgotten the second half of it and have to watch it again.
If I want to commit suicide via alcohol poisoning, I will do that.
Because that movie is... Oh, God, I really am doing the same thing. I'm armchair criticking here. But no, I'm speaking from my own subjective experience. Even as a kid, I was a kid when that movie came out, and a die-hard Mortal Kombat fan. And I was just like, what the hell is on my screen? This is not the shit I love. This has nothing to do with the shit I love.
I'm not being an armchair critic because since I have Rotten Tomatoes up here, let's look at their score. First of all, they have one of the lowest scores on the entire site. There's others that are lower, but their critic score is 3%. And the audience score is 25%, which is a lot higher. That's a lot higher than I expected.
Higher than I thought it would be.
I thought it would be like in the teens at the most, but the first one, yeah, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. It is not a good movie, but in the context of video game movies coming out on, movie format, I think it's the best one.
Oh my god, I just looked up a random ass movie's Rotten Tomatoes score, and I can't believe that this many people actually liked it.
What is it?
46%. A movie called Rubber.
What's Rubber?
Oh my god, you have to watch this movie and report back to this podcast later.
Apparently I don't, if it's so bad.
No, this is one of these things, it's so bad you need to see it. Okay, so I'm gonna try to plot synopsis Rubber just a little bit. Okay, so basically a tire becomes conscious. You heard me right, a fucking tire. And it goes on a killing spree.
Oh, tell me more.
Yeah, it's a movie about a killer tire. But it was a French film, and there are people that think it's like really clever because like I had a guy trying to tell me that it's a social commentary because the tire doesn't start like killing people until it doesn't like the tire like starts trying to be human, like it goes in like a shower trying to take a shower, and then whenever it's tossed out, that's when it kills a person.
What?
It's so dude, you just have to see it, and we'll talk about it later because this is one of those things. It's such a bag of shit that you have to watch it.
So based off of this, first of all, the score for people listening, the score for Rubber is 69% for critics and 46% with the audience. Now, just from that description, I'm just going to say bullshit. And it gives me the feeling that if I was to make a movie, having no movie making experience whatsoever, and I made it in French, Oscar worthy!
Oh no, it's not French. The film was written and directed by a French guy, but the film's in English.
Oh, okay.
But it's not Oscar worthy. It didn't win like any awards or anything. That was just a person I was talking to who was trying to tell me about all that. I'll read the movie info synopsis.
You don't have to.
I want to.
You don't have to.
I want to.
Oh. Go ahead.
Rubber is the story of Robert, an inanimate tire that has been abandoned in the desert and suddenly and inexplicably comes to life. As Robert roams the bleak landscape, he discovers that he possesses terrifying telepathic powers that give him the ability to destroy anything he wishes without having to move. At first content to prey on small desert creatures and various discarded objects, his attention soon turns to humans, especially a beautiful and mysterious woman who crosses his path. Mm-hmm. Leading a swath of destruction across the desert landscape, Robert becomes a chaotic force to be reckoned with,
really?
And truly a movie villain for the ages.
Oh, shit. Sign me up, I'm sold.
Oh, yeah, you gotta watch it.
No, I don't. I really don't have to.
No, dude, watch it.
Where is this? Is this a Netflix movie or what is this?
It wasn't made by Netflix, but it's on Netflix.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant. Well, if I have absolutely nothing else to do with my day, I will think about it. But
no, you got to watch it so we can talk about it next week. I gotta hear your thoughts on this movie.
Oh my god. Anyway, let's move to something much more cheerful. So, now this happened like a week or so ago, but it actually came out today or yesterday. It was an article yesterday where the CW-TV producer was fired for sexual assault allegations. Have you heard about this?
Not at all.
All right. Well, his name is Andrew Kreisberg. I believe that's how you say his name. He's a producer for The Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow. But according to this, 19 people have come forward accusing him of sexual misconduct, sexual harassment, and things like that. And
holy hell.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. So
that's too many for it to be false.
Yeah, that's where, like, I'm seeing a few opinions about this saying that, is this really where we're at now? Is this going to be, is someone just, accuses someone for sexually harassing them, they're automatically fired? Basically
19 people is a lot of people.
Yeah, they're basically saying that it's becoming a witch hunt. But, yeah, 19 people. So, I don't know. I mean,
There's a witch hunt.
As small as it is, there still is that chance that it might not be true, but pretty sure it's true.
No, I don't think it's a witch hunt at all. I really think that I really think that there's some shady shit going on in Hollywood with people in power, and I mean, I don't want to get super into this because we've talked about it literally the last 2 episodes.
Yes.
But no, I think it's good that some of this shit's coming tumbling down.
I am happy to see that there are more of these coming out, because that means people are not withholding that information anymore. That people aren't afraid to come out and put the people that have treated them in this way in the spotlight and showing that there's repercussions for this. This might be potentially the end or close to the end of this type of behavior. We can hope, at least, right?
I mean, maybe. One of the huge bummers for me here is this is going to absolutely ruin the end of House of Cards.
Why?
They're actually finishing shooting House of Cards without Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, but I thought they were done anyway.
No, this is the last season, but they weren't done shooting it.
Oh.
So they're going to have to finish shooting it and somehow explain Spacey's absence.
Yeah, apparently he's in the same rehab center as Weinstein.
Yeah, because...
Interesting.
You've seen House of Cards, right?
I got maybe halfway through the first season, and then I just started watching other shit.
Weird. But
weird.
that's yeah, because I got hooked on it. I binge watched 4 seasons in like a week.
Well, I'm trying to get through Supernatural, man. I keep bringing it up, but that's like the one thing I'm trying to really get through.
The funny thing is, like, Supernatural is basically my guilty pleasure show. Like, I'm aware it's not like a brilliantly written like thing. They kind of just rely on repeating tropes and playing on your emotions with the whole brother thing over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I couldn't have dropped a show like House of Cards for it, because House of Cards kept me like on the edge of my seat, like guessing what was coming next through like 4 seasons.
How many seasons is House of Cards?
4.
Including this one that they're shooting?
Oh, wait, it might actually be 5. And they're
okay,
shooting
well, I
6
mean, it's still,
it.
My point still stands then. Supernatural's been around for 13 seasons. And I didn't start noticing it until, I mean, around 5 or 6, season 5 or 6, that they're starting to repeat the thing. So, I think...
Yeah, 5 seasons, and I've seen 5. I've seen all 5.
Okay. But I think Supernatural is a brilliantly written show until they started repeating the same patterns of behavior.
But you have to at a certain point. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do at this point?
Exactly.
You've got essentially 3 characters on the show.
Careful, spoilers. You're about to start something, I feel. I'm only on 11.
I was going to say that you can't live without, pretty much.
Okay, yeah.
So what are you going to do? I mean,
yeah.
What are you gonna try to convince me at this point that Sam Radine is gonna die? Unless it's the finale of the series, I don't believe you.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's the only way that the show can end is them dying.
Yeah, because I mean, but unless it's the season finale, every time Sam Radine's life is in jeopardy at this point, I'm like, yeah. Okay, this is not the series finale. I know they're not gonna die.
Where's our walking ex machina? Bring him in.
Yeah, where?
Anyway.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's one of these things where, like, I feel like that show has a whole lot of filler. I guess that's the way I put it.
Definitely has a lot of filler.
Yeah, that's the way I put it, a whole lot of filler.
And they're doing that fucking trick that I like but hate at the same time, where in the filler episodes, they sneak in, usually towards the end of the episode, an important plot point for the main story.
Yep.
To get you to watch the filler episodes, they do that. Like, it's not like X-Files anymore where you can just skip the filler episodes and not miss a damn thing. No, they figured it out. They figured out how to get you to watch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, here I am totally picking apart a show that I like that is good.
Yeah. We're turning into the armchair critics.
See, this is what the internet does to people. You gotta have an opinion, right?
So...
Spending your life on social media.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, as of this recording, it's November 30th. Last day of No Shave November. Thank fucking God, man.
Not gonna keep it?
I'm not hating the beard. I'm hating my fucking head. Like, I've kept my head shaven for close to a decade now.
Yeah.
And seeing it grow back without touching it at all, my hairline has gotten so much worse. I don't know if you saw it, but I posted a picture on our Facebook page.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. Now, I mean, you can't really tell because I was actually trying to show my beard more than anything else, but you can kind of tell my hairline's pretty bad. Like, tomorrow morning, I'm taking a fucking razor to this bitch. As far as the beard, though, like, I'm actually still undecided if I'm just going to let it go and, like, not touch it or shave it off completely. Because that's another thing, is that I haven't been clean shaven in over a decade as well. Well, actually, since high school. So I might shave everything off and completely hate how I look, and then I go ghost on all social media as far as pictures.
I don't know, man. I didn't do it this year. I've done the whole No Shave November thing before. I just end up with like a hillbilly beard.
Hillbilly beard.
Yeah. And the hairline thing, as I near 30, I'm fucking obsessed with it. Like, I look in the mirror like every fucking day.
You ain't gonna lose shit. Shut up.
I hope not.
Most of
my family doesn't.
Yeah. I started losing my shit at 19. I started, like, noticing it's starting to go back. By mid-20s, I'm like, fuck it. Gone. All gone. Shave.
I've got, like, what to me feels like very light thinning along the front of it, but not, like, probably not noticeable unless you're me.
Yeah, like, if you're obsessively looking at it, there's no ignoring mine.
Yeah, like, I'm just like, is it happening? Is it happening? Better not be fucking happening.
Has my experience, like, frightened you of that? You're like, fuck, I don't want to end up like Sean. Jesus.
Well, I only have one male member of my family that lost his hair, and I'm thinking, like, don't let me be the fucking unlucky number 2.
Who's that? Who is he to you?
An uncle of mine, my dad's brother.
See, the thing is that I have hair loss on both sides of my family, except for my mom's twin brother, who, to my knowledge, still has a full head of hair. Just, like, completely randomly.
Yeah, my dad, he made it up into his 50s and hadn't lost hardly anything.
Damn.
And it's finally thinned some now, but it thinned as a side effect of medication he got put on. It didn't even thin because of his genetics. One of the side effects of the medication he was put on is that it thins your hair. And it's not like it's receded or he's got bald spots. His hair's just thinner than it was.
What an asshole, whoever made that drug.
Yeah, like, my grandfather, my grandfather, on my dad's side, he has pretty much a full head of hair. It's just white.
Right. I'll never experience that. I'll never experience a white head of hair.
Well, you could always get, transplants.
I ain't doing that shit. Unless they perfect it one day, I ain't doing that shit.
Well, isn't it, like, it already works, doesn't it?
Kind of. I mean, I guess it replaces what you have lost, but if you lose anything else, you are still bald in those spots. It's too expensive and too ineffective for the price, so fuck that shit.
Razor, it's always the old Rogaine thing, too.
I ain't doing that shit either. I ain't putting chemicals on my head that makes your hair grow, apparently.
I mean, might work. Just depends on how vain you are. What are you willing to risk for vanity?
I don't know. I think I pulled a bald look. Or maybe I'm just used to it.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think about. Like, I could never pull a bald look.
I don't know bald because I can't imagine you bald, but you could pull off the short-haired look, like how you were in high school. Yeah,
but like if I ever have to pull off bald, I'm going to be pulling off the hat look, not the bald look.
Yeah,
the guy who's always wearing a hat.
That's exactly who I was this month. Anytime I went out of that door, hat went on. I guess I am too vain for that, to just leave the house and see people I don't even fucking know and worry about my hairline. So, I don't know.
What a crazy species we are. We would walk around worrying about that shit.
Yeah. Well, I think we pretty much covered everything that I wanted to talk about. Is there something else you wanted to bring up?
No, this, random rambling meandering, pretty much covered it.
Okay. All right. Well, if you guys have any questions for anything that we talked about today, whether it's the Conor debacle or UFC in general, maybe there's something you want to ask us about DC and Marvel, something like that, or any question at all, you can send us a question through our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/theoryofanythingpodcast. You could also send it to our Twitter, which is @ToA podcast. And we also have an email, which is theoryofanythingpodcast@gmail.com.
Speaking of that, we actually had an Ask Anything this week, and we were about to be shitheads and not do it.
Well, let's go ahead and do that.
The question was, if you could have any superpower, what would you want? Any one superpower.
Okay. Haven't we kind of... I mean, this hasn't been a question for Ask Anything, but haven't we kind of mentioned it before?
I don't fucking remember. Maybe.
Okay. Well, what's yours?
For me, immortality.
Well, Jesus Christ. Let's just go straight to God level.
Well, no, I mean, like, I guess I don't get, like, super speed. I don't get, like, super strength or anything, but I'm never going to die.
I think
and with that comes an implied not aging. But there's a reason for that. As long as you don't die, if technology keeps going, you can get other superpowers.
Oh, loophole.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but what if that never happens? You're going to be like, shit, I can't die. I'm tired of this shit.
I don't know. I mean, that I'll deal with that later. But I never have to die. I mean, what else could I want? If it wasn't that, it would have to be like Goku instant transmission type thing from Dragon Ball Z, the teleportation thing, where like you just like, hey, I want to be in Paris. Pop, I'm in Paris.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you never die, then you'll never get the answer to the greatest mystery of all time.
Yeah, but you know,
Overrated? Greatest mystery of all time. What happens when we die? Overrated.
Well, since I'm 99.9% sure it's absolutely fucking nothing.
God, see, I hate that.
Like, I mean, I'll leave a little room for doubt, but I'm pretty sure it's just, good old dirt nap.
Yeah, leave 1% room for error. I don't know,
I left
man.
0.1% room for error.
Oh yeah, you said 0.9, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, my whole thing with I don't believe it till I see it logic, no one can possibly have all the information to those type of questions. So to be sure, either way, I just don't get. Anyway,
no, but we'd have to pull a dead person to get the answer, and they're pretty silent on the topic. So
I don't know. Maybe we can have technology that we could talk to dead people. Wouldn't that be freaky?
Oh yeah, just go have a seance.
We are not having a fucking seance. Actually, here's something that I want to know people's opinions on. If one day we decided to take a little road trip and film it, just John and I, to one of those psychics that you pay to tell your fortune and all that, if we were to go in there with a camera, probably one at a time, right? They probably wouldn't have us at the same time, right? We'd have to do our own individual sessions.
I mean, it just depends. Depends on the psychic. We could totally fuck this shit up. Depends on the story we want to tell them.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, that was sort of like what we were thinking, is like just giving the psychic a completely bullshit story about ourselves.
Hi.
Like the total opposite of who we actually are.
Hi, we're engaged and we want a reading before we...
Oh my god. Oh man. Whatever.
If they buy that, they're bullshit right out the gate.
Yeah. But basically, if you guys want to see like sort of a filmed stunt of us fucking with a psychic, then let us know in our Facebook page or wherever you prefer. Okay, so you choose immortality. Just an insane one. See, I was just going to say, like, the Flash's powers. Because, like I've said before, I think the Flash is the most powerful character.
So you take the Speed Force. Yeah, I was just going to say being Kryptonian, but that's not an actual individual superpower. But
Kinda. Every Kryptonian has been a god, basically.
Yeah, but along with being Kryptonian comes, like, tons of superpowers. So I was like, I gotta isolate it to one. I can't just say be Superman.
Yeah,
because now I got eye lasers and ice breath and super speed, and I can hear somebody's heartbeat on the other side of the planet, and
the most overpowered superhero of all time, outside of like gods and shit.
Yeah, like all the time. Somebody's like, who would win, Superman or Superman? like
Superman to everything you're about to say. Even flying is sort of like an easy answer, a very common answer. But you also got to take in consideration of how fast can you fly? What happens if a bug hits you while you're flying super fast and it fucks you up? So I guess you have to have invulnerability too, right? And
yeah, like I thought about that too. Like I was like, that's why, like, if I couldn't just have like immortality, like if I couldn't have that, I'd want like teleportation.
That's the thing that like I've always thought about, even watching like the Christopher Reeve Superman, is that when Superman is flying people around, the Flash too, in the TV show Flash, when basically they're taking someone with them, why isn't their face flying off of their skull at that sort of speed? You know what I'm saying? Like if Superman was to carry me through the sky, my face would be.
I guess he's somehow shielding them from the wind with his aura of awesome.
Well, I guess the Flash kind of explains that a little bit, that the way the Flash moves is actually the Speed Force surrounds him and pushes matter aside for him. So, yeah, the whole that logic kind of works for the Flash, but Superman? He's just flying through the air. Meanwhile, Lois Lane's hair barely moves an inch. Anyway. All right, but thank you for that questions. You can send your questions to facebook.com/theoryofanythingpodcast. Twitter is at ToA podcast, and the email is theoryofanythingpodcast@gmail.com. Actually, it might be a good time now to tease that we're making a pretty big move come January, so prepare for that.
It involves nudes.
Does not involve nudes. Motherfucker. Until next week, my name is Sean.
And I'm John.
Yeah, he's John. Later, everybody. Thanks.